Hey everyone, for today's video we are going to go over the StartEngine investors, pitch that they have. Most people have been talking about the financial situation with the papers that tell you the details of how much debt they are and all that stuff, but I've noticed no one's actually gone through the pitch itself. Yeah, I wanted to see if it was just as bad as the Neil Patel investors one, which I have done an overview of, and I'll have it in the description, the link to in the description. And I'll play this family clip at the end. So we'll just go over hit this and see if it is as cheesy as it was for the Neil Patel one. So it starts off saying, "Bring people together again. Intellivision is bringing children, parents, friends back to the living room with Amico, a family-friendly video game entertainment platform that gathers families together again with premium games designed for all ages and skill levels. The Amico console is in pre-production and with not yet available on the general market." So in the pre-production, so they haven't even produced one yet. So we'll go for reasons to invest. So reasons to invest. Intellivision has developed a game-changing video game entertainment platform, Amico, that will reconnect friends and bring families back together again. I don't know what what's game-changing about this, because everything they've shown has already been done elsewhere at a lower price and much better. The second reason to invest, Amico, which means Italian and French. Or it means friends, which means friend in Italian. So that's the second reason, is because it's Amico. And the third reason is because it's easy to play video game technology. I will give them credit that this picture here is pretty good. This was well done. It's probably the best part of the whole pitch and the best part they've shown ever. So it already starts off with the an extreme exaggeration. There are more than 3 billion casual video game players. Yes, it's larger than the movie and music industry combined. So once again, they're saying that they're targeting the 3 billion casual video game players and making it seem like the Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft are not doing this. And just for example, Microsoft with its integration with Windows, first of all, and also with the Game Pass and being able to stream on your smartphone, and them buying Activision recently, which has big mobile market. I'm sure they're not targeting them. Nintendo, has never done that. They never ever released a Mario Brothers game or a Mario Kart game on mobile platforms. So I like how they're innovators here. And it's larger than the movie and music industry combined. So they're targeting everybody. Hardcore gamers, in quotes, are those who play more than 22 hours a week. That's what defines a hardcore gamer. Number about 34 million in the United States. They represent only a small fraction of the casual gamers, a growing audience currently estimated at 227 million players. Globally, the number of casual gamers have grown to about 3.1 billion players. I love these numbers here. It's just throwing out like it's a comparable thing. I wasn't sure. Hardcore gamers, is that the same thing as someone who plays a lot of games, or someone who's into the hardcore, like Dark Souls? I consider that a hardcore gamer. There is people who play Clubhouse games for 22 hours plus a week. I wouldn't consider them hardcore. So once again, they're targeting the massive audience. Fun fact, that's 15 times the market of the traditional video games. So they are going to target the audience that nobody else has, because they're just, they're ahead of the game there. Our potential audience is 3 billion people worldwide. 3 billion! Wow! Geez, you would think Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft would want to target 3 billion people, with all the money that they have and their reach. Why would they not target these 3 billion? I wonder why. So once again, they're trying to make it seem like they're games which appear in all the other consoles and appear for free and way more frequently on the Android or Apple stores. They're going to tap that market. The problem. Many families have been driven away from video games. Oh god, that's such bullshit. Video games are fun and offer cognitive, social, and physical benefits. However, the unfortunate reality is that today's games are expensive, competitive, complicated, isolating. How could it be competitive and isolating? That doesn't really make much sense. So I had a problem with that one where they said many families have been driven away from video games. So I went to Wikipedia here and it has a list of best-selling video game consoles of all time and in the order of how much they sold. If you go all the way down to Intellivision, it says 3 million. 3 million. Actually, let's go by release. So the oldest ones were selling one NES for 60 million, 1 million, 10 million. If you go to the newer systems here, they're at 12 million, 100 million, 50 million, 116 million. I don't know what they're talking about. It's the Switch, which is still, for sale, is at 103 million. It looks like a lot more families nowadays play video games, and a lot of people consider back in the day Nintendo 60 million, or Nintendo 64 32 million. Yet the Switch has sold 103 million, and the PlayStation 4 116 million. So that argument is a complete farce. It's a complete lie. So the next point they have here is the expensive one. Most of today's gaming systems cost upwards of $500, and in individual games can be easily $50 plus, even higher with additional content purchased over time. Players are encouraged to wear headsets as they play alone. I don't know. I've never seen a Nintendo Switch commercial encouraging people to wear headsets. I don't even know if they have an official headset. And pretty much most of their big games, they show people playing together as a family and with friends, as you can see in this montage of Nintendo commercials.
Come on. Alright guys, let's do this. Thanks, man. Steer left. There we go. Yeah, go. Another one right there. Go.
So learning how to operate the games can take days, if not weeks. Weeks to learn how to play a game. I've never had a situation where someone has taken weeks to play a game and still, if it's taken them 1 week to learn how to play a game, usually they don't want to play. Like, they just won't play that game. So let's get back to this where it says costing upwards of $500. That's not true. If you can see here, the Switch is $300. It's not $500. And the Series S, brand new Xbox console, $300. That's $200 less than what they're claiming here. And individual games can be easily $50 plus, but what they don't mention is a lot of games are also $2, $5, $10, $20. And the games that are $50 plus, the amount of money it takes to, to produce those games, let's say like a Mario Odyssey, where they have a huge teams with hundreds of people working on the game. It's a little bit different than playing Pong for $4 on the Amico. So it's kind of a bizarre comparison. And the next part where it's saying learning how to operate can take weeks. That's not true. Sure, certain games are, but most likely grandma's not going to play a tactical shooter. Clubhouse games takes 2 seconds to learn because it holds your hand throughout the whole process, and it's for the most part 2 buttons. So it's quite an exaggeration. I do like this picture here. Complicated versus simple. This is simple. If they're going to use a complicated example, why would they use the retro systems here? Why would you not use something that is, a lot more detailed? They show a Nintendo controller here. How is this complicated? There's a directional pad that shows up, down, left, right. Select, start, BA. There's two action buttons and 2 menu buttons and a directional pad. How is that complicated? Why would you add that for the list in complicated? And it's not like these were hard to plug in. There's a power cable and a cable going directly into the TV. Meanwhile, this one, you have to set up the Wi-Fi and set up NFTs if you're buying the physical products, and a whole lot more. This is way more complicated. What a terrible example. Making matters worse, there's a dark side. Ooh. Today's dominant themes include physical violence, gun violence, adult language, and sexual content. An online gameplay where participants interact with complete strangers over the internet opens up players to uninvited predators. Except the Nintendo doesn't do that. I like how they mention that. And they make it seem like no one's ever gone on the internet. Like, every parent now is completely familiar with, monitoring your kid's internet activity. And I have to disagree. The dominant themes include physical violence, gun violence, adult language. Well, sure, there is games that have all that stuff, but there's also a whole lot more games that do not. And I'll show you in this graph here. So the Amico likes to frequently avoid bringing up the Nintendo Switch, which is the family-friendly console that most people associate with. The Xbox and the PlayStation also have tons of family-friendly games, but most people who have a great concern about exposing their children to violence usually choose the Nintendo system. And let's take a look at the best-selling Switch games. We have Mario Kart Deluxe, Animal Crossing, Smash Brothers, Zelda, Pokemon, Mario Odyssey, Mario Party, Pokemon, Ring Fit, Mario, Splatoon, Luigi's, Mario. Maybe this might be the first scary game with violence. Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, Zelda, Among Us, 1-2 Switch, Clubhouse Games, Paper Mario, Kirby, Fire Emblem. Maybe Fire Emblem's considered bad because there's some violence. Minecraft. And it just goes on. It's just there isn't anything with profane language and what do they say? Gun violence, physical violence, adult language, sexual content. None of those games have that. So they make it seem like there's not another option where you can have family-friendly games. Total BS. We believe these issues have driven families away from video games, despite the fact the Switch is, the hottest selling console. There's no simple unified entertainment platform where all families can play and enjoy equally, except the Nintendo Switch, which is a unified entertainment platform where all family members can enjoy equally. Most of the games do have an easy mode or some type of thing where you can turn on, or like a kids mode. It says a unified video game entertainment platform that all family members can enjoy. The solution: meet Amico! So they're using world language here, even though it's only coming out in North America. Kind of weird. Or it's only going to be launching in North America first, is what I'm saying. Amico was designed and engineered by a team of industry veterans to redefine wholesome video game entertainment with a broad variety of family-friendly games. All of Amico games are free of profanity and violence. They are 100% family-friendly. So I do have a criticism about that. Say they're free of violence. The definition of violence: the use of physical force to harm someone, to damage property. Great destructive force or energy. I don't know about you, but I would consider, war machines like a tank shooting and blowing up another tank as an act of violence. And there are other games, such as like the Rigid Force. Look at that, the guy died because they exploded it. Other games like Rigid Force Reda and a couple of the other ones where they're blowing up stuff, I would consider that violence. The hardware and software have been designed to make group or multiplayer games easy for any skill, even first-timers, so players of all backgrounds can truly enjoy gaming together. Nintendo also does that. Bringing families together in a group play within the home. Games are rated E for everyone, or E10 for everyone 10 and up, with no advertisements, additional content, downloadable content, loot boxes, or in-game purchases. And to ensure the parental peace of mind, Amico doesn't need to connect to the internet for gameplay. Online access is required for new game purchases and some features. Multiplayer games require participants to be in the same room so players know everyone. So that seemed more like a negative feature than a positive feature. Intellivision Entertainment has partnered with world-class family-oriented brands to bring family and friends back together again with Amico. Notice they have not mentioned the NFTs here. That's such a big deal here. No NFT mentions here. Very interesting. At least they have real pictures this time instead of Photoshop people. What we do is safe, affordable, fun entertaining. Amico comes with two easy-to-use color touchscreen controllers and a sleek console offered in multiple colors that look great in any living room or game room. Easy-to-use touchscreen controllers, integrated touchscreen, motion controls, up to 8... Well, isn't this a lie? That's not accurate, because didn't John Alvarado say only 4 controllers can be connected to it, and then you'd have to use 4 phones to have up to 8 controllers? That's kind of misleading that you can have 8 Amico controllers. Here are some of our key features. 2 controllers are included. Mobile phones may also be used as additional controllers, designed to maximize fun and functionality. As a key feature, I would hope every single controller or game would be designed to maximize fun and adapts gameplay for any skill level. Karma gaming engine, integrated touchscreen, proprietary hardware, most definitely, because no one else would use that. Motion control, up to 8 players on select games. And then they have all the different colors and lists here. That Galaxy Purple looks quite different from the original one. Amico comes with 6 family-oriented games. Our digital library will include a diverse lineup of curated games at launch. They're curated because they have to pick, because they're very selective. It's not because they just got some free games from, a Bavarian German grant. With an aggressive release schedule for new games and partner integrations. That's even better, because originally there was going to be bunch of games, but didn't Phil say in the latest interview that it might be one game every 2 weeks now? We offer all new original games, retro reimagined games, sports games, and recreation, casual, and edutainment games. There's something for everyone. All games are rated E10+. The overall gaming market surged by 20% during COVID. Hey, I thought they said that the gaming market is dying and families aren't playing anymore. From 144 billion to 22 from 144 billion in 2019 to more than 177 billion in 2020. I like the breakdown here. So the box downloaded PC, I don't know what that means. Just PC games. Console, tablet. How's a tablet different from smartphone? So once again, they're trying to show that the smartphone is a big market, but what they don't explain is that most of those games are from free-to-play games of people buying, it's like a small amount of people who spend a lot of money on the free-to-play games. For the most part, most users, I'd imagine, pay nothing or else less than $10 ever for their games. What I'm trying to say is just there's a small amount of people who make the mass majority of the purchases on smartphone games. So strong industry growth. There's our serviceable addressable market, which is their SAM, is 56.1 billion, with much of the future growth happening in our target segments within the casual gamer markets. Look how happy she is. 56.1 billion. Including the young children, parents, and grandparents, families will play with Amico. The audience grows to about 3 billion. That's like the worst. If you ever watch Shark Tank, they always grill people who do that. They say, if we can only just get 1% of the market, and that market could be 10 billion. If it was that easy, then everyone would do that, wouldn't they? Another thing is, how are you going to reach that 56.1 billion that market there? It costs a lot of money to advertise globally to everyone in different regions and different markets, because don't forget the Asian market is huge for the mobile phones. So it costs a fortune to break into that. And I don't think a YouTube video featuring DJC rapping is gonna make some lady, wherever this lady's from, into buying this Amico. This part's gonna be good. Our traction. We've completed the hardware and our software is in final development. So that's, first of all, why is their software in final development when they've had all those delays and an extra 2 years to work on it? That's questionable. And by completed the hardware, maybe they've nailed down the final specs, because last we heard in December there's testing the molding for the shell. Sales numbers, 25 million plus in total orders, inclusive of pre-orders and direct. I heard it was 5,400 was their last pre-order total. And this is where it gets funny again. The pre-orders are the purchase orders, not the pre-orders. Do they really? First, I don't believe they have $25 million worth of purchase orders. Another thing is they keep talking about going to retail, and this is one thing that I always find funny. And clearly, that none of the the Amico After Dark or the Amico whatever different podcasts, they never ever bring this up. They never bring up how bloody expensive it is to go to retail with a product, especially with a small margin like this. There's no way they can do it, because there's a lot more than just shipping the product and then they sell, like the stocking fees and everything else that's involved. And first of all, the advertising, the marketing, that's a fortune. Getting shelf space. If they're expecting to get premium shelf space at a Walmart or a GameStop or Best Buy, that's a fortune. It makes no sense. This is like the worst business decision. If they ever decide to go retail, if they had even any money, it'd bankrupt them, because it's so expensive. It makes no sense. There's a reason. Once again, I watch Shark Tank a lot. Best show to learn just the basics. Going direct to customer is just so much more safer, because say for example they did get a massive purchase order, and more than likely Best Buys and Walmarts are not going to buy it out. Not going to buy them. It's most likely they'll shelve it. Anything that doesn't get sold goes back to Intellivision, and they have to pay for that, and it's a fortune. And that's why they don't. Most companies don't want to go to retail these days, because it's just far cheaper just to send it directly to the customers, because you don't have to worry about inventory and managing the inventory. It's not like 1995 or maybe even 2000, 2005 anymore. You don't go to retail. It's a crappy idea. But of course they make a big deal, and on those podcasts they always talk about, oh, they hit the stores and they're going to have advertisements. I'm like, no, they're not. That shit's super expensive, like really expensive. And even if they were to get to GameStop, where are they going to put it? They're going to put it up top behind the cash register, maybe, because it's a console, so it's not going to be where someone can grab. So it's going to be hidden away. No one's going to see it. Same with Best Buy. It might be tucked away in like a cabinet underneath somewhere. Like, who knows where they put it? I guess in the console section, but it's not going to be, there's going to be zero presence, so you're not going to see it when you're going to watch or like walk and shop. And most people don't even go retail anymore. Have they not noticed how much smaller the game sections are at Best Buy these days in Walmart compared to what it was during the Wii heyday? It's like even GameStop, like now you go there, it's like half Funko Pop toys and other toys and merchandising, and the games have shrunk like half the store. So retail is that's just ridiculous. And we already know that they don't have money to go retail, but it's just ridiculous that they have this. Customer acceptance. Oh geez. Market research with retro gamers, seniors, families with broad age ranges out of children have generated positive feedback. Well, clearly they're not going to put all the honest reviews here, because who's going to invest? But we know that's a lie. The original pre-order program sold out on the website in a matter of hours. And now, moving towards launch, we've lost them all. Product development hardware, OS, games in development, 40, questionable. 6 packing games, back-end systems, which they need money to. That's what makes it funny. If the people actually read this and then read the financials later, where it says where we need the money, like this isn't done, this isn't done, this isn't done. Patents and IP. Omnibus patent around controller disc and Karma gaming engine, which is hilarious because Tommy said it isn't something. That's not even real. And he's on record for saying that, so that makes it even funnier. A game balancing technology. We have many content licensing deals and the list growing every month. Social proof. We have significant direct order and channel order volumes, very little marketing effort, plus a growing number of organic influencer fans. Do they? They have like 3, maybe 5. And what's sad is like I have videos and I'm just put some stupid videos on. You know, I'm not nothing special, but my views are like 10 times bigger than a lot of those other guys' views, which is sad. Their partnerships is Hot Wheels, MLB, which we haven't seen anything, whatever this is, Harlem Globetrotters, yay, Evel Knievel, yay, Interplay, Atari, Sesame Street. Well, it seems like they have a lot less. Before they had a lot more. Why do you invest? Amico is a game changer. Intellivision aims to be the world leader in bringing families, friends back together to group play within the home. We will continue attracting family brands that have been historically ignored by the console market. I'd like to know some examples of that because most of the family brands have been on the console. Amico's unique hardware and touchscreen enabled controllers and fully integrated RFID technology. No NFT mentions again. Allow us to innovate and focus on the in-the-living-room multiplayer gameplay. I'm guessing they don't have any NFT at all whatsoever, which is hilarious. Because they would mention that, because the NFT is like the buzzword nowadays for the investors. That would attract investors, not detract them. So why wouldn't they bring it up if they have it? Featuring a retro classic look and feel, Amico combines the accessibility, the blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Game changer. Intellivision's experienced team believes in Amico will observe the engagement, heard the laughter, and see the smiles on the face. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. So they keep regurgitating the same stuff here. In the press. I like this part. In the press. And what's their press releases? Last one is October. And that's their own press releases. I like the real in the press. If you go to Google and go to Intellivision Amico and click on news. First one, Intellivision admits its Wii-like console may never see the day. Intellivision asks fans for more money, reveals massive debts. Warns the Amico price could rise as the Tommy steps down. System may never release. On the verge of going bankrupt. La console ne sera peut-être jamais, meaning like it might never ever come out. I can't read that, but I assume it's not good. So that's what's in the press. It's just all negative stuff. It's hilarious. At least they updated the team now. So I won't bother going through all that stuff. And the numbers, I recommend going into the Gen X Gamer with Geek Getaway video. That broke it down pretty good. And actually on the subreddit, there's even a better one by Gatorooz. He did a really nice detailed breakdown. So Intellivision_Amico, check it out. So we'll check out the comments next, just because I thought this would be fun. And then after that, we'll go to that family trailer. So Joseph B says, besides the market research requests below, I would like to request a breakdown of how your SAM was calculated, please, so I can better determine the likelihood and size of any potential return in this investment. Specifically, I have two concerns there to address. Concern 1. Free-to-play with microtransaction games are responsible for 80% of digital game revenue. Source, and then gives the source. How do you account for this in your collection of SAM? Your SAM of 25% is actually greater than entire non-microtransaction revenue of 20%. And Amico bans microtransactions, so they totally busted them. This is a great comment here by Joseph B. I don't know who that is. I'm guessing someone who wants to invest. He just pointed out how their numbers are ridiculous. And with cell phone games or mobile games, it is about the microtransactions. It's not like people are dropping $10, $15 on Farkle games or whatnot. Those games are all free. Like most people, like, even for myself, I have tons of video games. But the games that are on my cell phone are all free to play, or else free downloads. And there's options to, buy the DLC or the microtransactions, sorry. But I'm cheap, so I never do. Okay, so it says roughly 40% of the game revenue is from China and Far East Asia. That's what I said earlier. What is the geographical breakdown of your SAM? That's what exactly. A huge market is from Korea and China, Japan, and Amico's not even going there, so it's just a bunch of made-up numbers. And Joseph has another question. I have a question about your SAM, which appears to be based on a percentage of the same thing we're saying there. Gamers in your chart. Since these are predominantly the casual gamers you're targeting, the issue is the casually game on their phones specifically because they already own the platform. It is in their pockets and it is convenient. Additionally, the vast majority of revenue for casual gamers is from microtransaction, something the Amico bans. My question is, what specific market research have you performed, and where can I find this methodology and results to determine what portion of casual gamers don't own an existing console but want to buy a console to play games that are not free up front, counter to their existing gaming habits? It's a great point. Oh, it looks like Nick responded. Holy jeez. Responded with a freaking story here. Well, let's go through it. The first paragraph is just a bunch of fluff. He says, with that said, given our target demographic, we simply can't look at the existing gaming market when considering what our addressable market might look like. Interviews with families that were Nintendo Wii owners showed that a significant portion of that market exited the console market. They did not purchase another console after the Wii. I'd like to know that. I'd like to see that the studies with that. Most common reason given was that there was not a comparable product that provided the same level of accessibility and group play experience. Based on these findings, we established the assumption that a significant portion of our addressable market is not necessarily represented in the video game industry revenue numbers. I question that, because first of all, the non-gaming market that they're talking about, the Wii, and this might be a bit morbid, I'm assuming he's talking about the seniors. Most of them would be dead by now. Maybe not dead, but they'd be really old at this point, because the Wii was 15 years ago, so if they're 65 back then, they're 80 now. Are you really going to target that market? This is just, this paragraph. Most families stop gaming after that. Well, I showed you the numbers, how the Switch has outsold the Wii, and the other consoles have been selling crazy high. I would wager that most people have continued buying the games. I think the reason the Wii kind of dropped off is because the gimmick wore thin and people just got bored of it. And since the Wii, they have introduced a whole new market called, mobile gaming and tablet gaming and gaming off your TV and gaming everywhere else. It's blown up. And how many people did they really interview? Did they just interview like 5 people? Like, how do you get a huge research about people who didn't buy a console after purchasing the Wii? It seems weird. Because in theory, if the Wii sold 100 million and the Switch has sold over 100 million, then how do they know how many of the 100 million aren't the same that bought the Switch now? Like, it makes no sense. I would understand this point here if back in the Wii days, they sold 100 million consoles, and Nintendo and Sony nowadays could only sell 20 million, and they've lost 80 million of that market. But no, it's not. That's not what happened. It's also important to mention that we don't see the purchase of an Amico as an exclusionary decision to other gaming products. Amico will have a heavy focus on families with younger children, so we will see an Amico as an on-ramp to gaming for those families. Millennials now are the largest generation, surpassing the baby boomers. They statistically have been starting families later in life, which has created one of the largest populations of families with at least one child, 7 or younger, than any other time in the history of the world. As the children in the family mature, we can imagine that they might move to something else like the Switch, or onto hardcore gaming like the Xbox and PlayStation. As they do, we see the gaming dynamic for those children shift to more physical isolation and online play. With their heavy focus on in-person group play, we might imagine the families will consider Amico as an addition to existing gaming systems they may own. Once again, completely ignoring the fact that Nintendo, first of all, targets the whole demographics, like everyone, but they offer in-game co-op and they push it and promote it. Even just recently on the Mario Strikers thing, it's 8-person couch co-op. You can play it. I'm assuming that's on 2 Switches, but 4 at least on 1 Switch. They have Mario Party, which pushes, the co-op. So yeah, I don't really agree with that. Like, they make it seem like Nintendo isn't doing that, and that Xbox and PlayStation is only for the hardcore older kids. I can't speak for everyone, but I have a couple of children, and one of them has been playing the Xbox since she was 6, because there's a group of games called the Lego games, which are extremely family friendly. They have all the great licenses, I remember playing the Incredibles and Pirates of the Caribbean and Harry Potter and all Star Wars, all those, the super popular IPs, and they're really easy to play. Kids have a good time. Good gateway game to get them into gaming. And after playing that, my child's second game she played was the Kirby Star Allies, which is the same thing. We could play together because it's 4-player couch co-op. Super friendly, they can play and not get frustrated and die. Adults can play too, and it's fun. And that time period, like, they're focusing on toddlers, of what it seems like. It's such a small age group, and they learn so quickly at that age group. So he's talking about like 4 to 6-year-olds. First of all, most people just if they're going to get something, they're going to get a tablet, because a tablet is $50 and it has a bunch of free educational games. And used it for my other daughter, who's super young, and it's super easy. They learn their ABCs and little puzzles and stuff, and it's free. Like, the tablet costs $50, but the games are all free, and it's super easy and cartoonish. And second of all, the tablet can play YouTube, which this can, and it's mobile. And it's not like a 5-year-old's going to play couch co-op with mom, dad, sister, brother. They're small. Their attention spans are tiny. They're not going to... And the Amico games, like, what game have they shown that a toddler's going to play? They're not going to play Evil Knievel or Rigid Force or Dyna Blaster. I just don't agree. So then they talk about board games, which is a hot trend, but they don't even have a board game. They have Farkle, which sucks. Clubhouse Games completely blows it out of the water, and you get 50 games, so it's not even a good comparison. For completeness, I would like to also mention a product line that is yet to be announced that uses only smartphones to create a dynamic group play experience with no additional hardware required. Some of the initial game development concepts are in the social deception genre. Don't know what that means, but why wouldn't they do that in the first place? Instead of building hardware, just build software and do something creative like that, which would cost far less. Again, you can see the one common thread in all this is group play. Bringing people together is the television's mission above all else. So it doesn't really answer the guy's question about everything he said here doesn't involve people in the $billion industry of the mobile market, which is single-player games, people playing quick fix games by themselves. It has no crossover to what he just said right here, so he did not answer that question. So he says, with regards to the over 25 million in pre-orders, purchase orders, and allocation requests, what is the itemized amount for each category? Do the purchase orders have an expiry date? I'm sure they did. And purchase orders are such a tricky thing. There's like intent to purchase, and until they actually sign the dotted line and order them, and who's liable for returns, which most likely be Intellivision, since this is a new product with no proof of sales, with low margins and electronics, and it has to be secured. It's like the worst product. People, Walmarts and stuff, they don't want items like this. They want the cheap plastic stuff that they can put it on a pallet and then sell a bunch of them with a high margin and like low risk. Nick, could you please at least... Oh, it says 12 hours ago, so we'll read this one first. Mike, we can't break this down specifically as it would create some tension in the distributor side market. Oh, sure, it's just because they don't have anything. We had to prioritize where product is going, and not everyone is getting all that they wanted out of the gate. So he's not answering the questions. Could you please at least state which percentage is committed individual customer pre-orders? I can tell you that. It's 1%, 2%. I take it that new 25% blah, 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 blah. Have they placed an initial order? If so, how many units? Thank you. So this guy is asking, how many orders did you get? It's none. And they would not give Intellivision money up front, especially if they have nothing in a warehouse, nothing built yet. Oh man, Clary C. As someone with decades of experience with video game, please do not be fooled into investing in this. This company has a vision that is unsustainable, and its detractors have been proven right at every turn. Over the past years, the former CEO has run the console's goodwill into the ground, and the gaming press rightfully believes that this console has no market. At this point, it's almost as expensive as the major consoles, but without their games, no kid wants this over a Switch, and nothing on it will match the wholesome fun of a Mario or Zelda. This is a console whose only audience is the very few people who are nostalgic for, well, it wouldn't be for the Amiibo, it would be for the classic Intellivision. Nobody understands the gaming industry. Nobody who understands the gaming industry would ever invest in this. Well, tell that to DJC, Retro Pro. Who else did it? Smash GT, I guess, also invested, and who knows who else invested. You can call me a hater, but before you spend your hard-earned money, please do your research and read what the real gaming press influence have to say. They have burned all their goodwill in the community and were banned from the biggest retro forum for attacks and lies. I'm guessing this is somebody who, in the know of everything. I wouldn't say this is trolling. He's just saying buyer beware. So I would not complain about this. Please, this is a black hole. If Amazon couldn't compete with their cloud-based console, then this at best is a joke. A poor business decision propping up the pie in the sky dream of Tommy Tallarico. Well, maybe you shouldn't have wrote that part, but everything he said here is fair, so I wouldn't blame him. There's a post that says it's from Thomas T. I do not think it's him, because if you read this, it's too... there's no spelling errors, and it's not aggressive, calling people haters, so it's too friendly to be him. It says, is this person in the clip really founder of Intellivision Amico? Which one is it? Oh, God.
Thank you.
Charlie, I have a question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
So if I put my dick in your mouth right now, would it still be considered a blowjob, or is it a hand job?
That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's probably not a good look for him. Hello. This might be another one. Hello, I came across this offering and I'm interested. I think the world could benefit from a family-friendly video game console that has no violence or suggestive themes. However, when I googled Amico, the name Tommy Tallarico came up, and the first result contained this link on Twitter. Let's see what this picture is. Oh my God. Yeah, it's his Atari Age post where he's calling people gaming racists, and see, this is where it's going to come back to bite Tommy for the rest of his career, probably, because he just kept making himself look like a dink online. If he stayed professional, people wouldn't have the ammo to show this type of stuff. Are there any plans to utilize the Amico trademark to obtain ownership of MicoGames.com domain? It is currently used to create negative press about the project. Well, that's funny. Also, there's an Amico Age which is full of haters and fascist communists. Jacob, we estimate it would cost anywhere from 10 to 20k in legal fees to go after these type of sites, as they're totally anonymous and we would have to go to court We'd have to get a court order just to simply know who we are dealing with, so that general toxic nature of the internet and video game industry in general will continue on full display. Also, they'd have no case, because most of it it's free speech. It's not gonna do anything. It's not slander when it's true. Well, is Jacob a troll? I think Jacob might be a troll, because we found out the other day the office in Utah is actually somebody's house. It says the SEC document states a residential address for the corporation headquarters. Apologies for the questions. Jacob, we're planning to move our office in Utah, so we didn't want to use the address we knew wouldn't be correct in the near future, so we used it. Yeah, what about that office? You just did a Utah office tour like a month or two ago, or I guess it's 2 or 3 months ago. I'm just going to fast forward to this one, where it says, but the logic of because billions of people love burgers, I'll be rich selling burgers is wrong. It doesn't work that way. If casuals love playing games with their phones and tablets, it's because there's zero money and effort put into downloading a free game and playing it for a couple of minutes. They are casual phone players for a reason. You're trying to sell cigars to non-smokers. It doesn't make sense. If that casual person feels the need to buy a console to play with their families, they'll buy a Switch. Mario's are perfect for the families, and the Switch has thousands of games that are for less than $5. That's a perfect comment. Cesar L. Okay, I'm going to go back to the top here and watch this family video here, because it's quite comical. Full screen it. At least this is better produced than the other ones.
Intellivision is bringing families back together again with an innovative gaming console called Amico.
Let's close this up here. It says game consoles used in this video are pilot production development versions. So this plastics don't look right still. And I just want to mention, they didn't mention anything about the LED lights in the previous sections at all. About either on here or here. No mention of the LED lights.
40 years ago, video games burst onto the scene as families connected gaming consoles to their television sets and enjoyed playing simple games together.
They did.
It didn't take long for video games to grow into a multi-billion-dollar industry as the digital play from companies such as Atari, Coleco, and Intellivision became an integral part of childhood culture. But by the mid-90s,
what they didn't mention is that during the Intellivision era that the market completely died and crashed. And who saved the gaming market? Nintendo. And who's still around? Nintendo.
the video game industry took a turn.
That guy has a pretty sweet room. If I was that kid, I wouldn't want to leave either. Look all the neon lights. Look how cool he is.
Easy-to-play games became sophisticated. Controllers.
And right there. Let's go back here for a second. He has two computers there. So he can have a friend playing with him. So what's the issue?
Sophisticated. Controllers became complicated. And consoles became expensive.
Consoles became expensive, but their console is same price as the Switch. What I forgot to mention is that Phil Adam said that the console might be $250 to $350 now, so it might actually be more expensive than the Switch.
Sadly, family play was replaced by solo.
And also, if you add inflation, the original consoles were far more expensive back in the Intellivision days and Nintendo and whatnot. I remember as a kid buying games for $70, $80 in late 80s, early 90s, and with inflation, that's way more. So the prices have actually came down quite a bit. Because back in the day, I remember if you wanted say for example, a Super Nintendo game, I loved the Super Nintendo, and it's not like the good games just dropped in price. Nowadays, if I want, like for example, I bought the PS4 with a bundle of a bunch of games, and they had greatest hits games also. So I paid $10, $15 for God of War, which is an awesome game, and I never paid $10, $15 back in the Super Nintendo days, unless the game sucked. But like the good games retained its value, so it's cheaper all around.
Play, and rooms full of laughter were replaced by insulating headsets. But all of that is about to change.
Insulating headsets, maybe for teenage boys, and this is where the conflict of what Nick Richards was saying in one of the questions there. He's saying, well, they'll move on to a PlayStation and Xbox. I don't know too many 7-year-old kids who play with headsets on. Most of them play in the living room with their mom or dad around. So it's a mixed message.
Change with the arrival of Amico. Just like the original Intellivision, which pioneered couch co-op and family gaming, Amico, the Italian...
It may have pioneered it, but it didn't bring it to the mainstream. That was Nintendo, NES for sure. That was definitely the system that brought, people together and had, the first one with mass market appeal where kids are playing together in front of the TV.
Word for friend promises to bring back family-friendly entertainment with the sole purpose of ease, togetherness, and fun. All Amico games are family-friendly, and they contain no violence or any foul language. Families will enjoy
They have 4 Amico controllers there. So that family has 4 Amico controllers, so they spent $300, we'll say, for the console, $400, $500 for all 4 of them to play together. And they're playing Shark and Breakout. Meanwhile, you can buy, if you're really working on the cheap, you can buy a used Wii with 4 controllers and 20 games for $100, but if you want a modern system, like a PS4, you can buy bundles and then buy extra controllers, like third-party controllers, for less than $500. So this
gathering
is funny.
Together with Amico,
and they're playing
right
Astro Smash.
Into fun-filled gameplay. The controllers are easy to learn, no matter what your skill level, and they've been
easy to learn no matter what your skill level. Okay, let's go back here. Mom or grandma, I can't tell. Mom needs daughter to show her what to do. That's not easy.
Skill level.
She's pressing the button for mom.
And they've been designed to adapt difficulty. They've been designed to adapt difficulty for diverse skill ranges. Amico will take your family back to the days when setting up and playing video games didn't require a large investment.
So they're showing them playing cornhole. This makes no sense at all. Mom and dad, first of all, are not playing with the kids. They're in the backyard there. Why is instead of mom and dad spending $300 to play cornhole to a console which is not magically somehow plugged in, even though it's not, they could spend $25 and tell the kids to go play cornhole right here on the grass. That makes no sense.
Games didn't require a large investment of time, but yielded a ton of fun and laughs. Amico isn't just simple, it's affordable too. Buying a new video game system typically means expensive games and overpriced accessories. But not with Amico. The system comes with 6 built-in games.
Comes with 6 games, but they show one of the games that is not included. Not good timing on that. And as I pointed out, it was $250 if you're lucky, could be $300, and extra $200 for extra couple controllers. And you're getting 6 games that are really low level. Forget not that the Switch has a ton of free-to-play games, but even if you were just to buy Clubhouse games for $40, you get 50 games of that.
And 2 wireless controllers with easy-to-use color touchscreens and a simple positional disc for endless hours of entertainment with your friends or family. Gameplay supports up to 8 players. And if you don't have a controller, you still join in on the fun by downloading the free Amico app on your smart device.
How's that app doing these days?
And Amico is for everyone. Just take a look at some of these games.
I'm looking at some of the games. This is for toddlers. Toddlers wouldn't play this. This game is a mess, so none of the grandma wouldn't play this. What a game! Maybe Shark is the one for everyone. And this game here, the Moji one.
The growing library includes motion-controlled sports games, party games, action arcade games,
they show Earthworm Jim,
children's edutainment, and even beloved classic retro games that many parents grew up with and loved. And of course, they have been totally reimagined for today. Today's Amico is being led by an experienced team of game industry professionals who have worked on some of the most popular and biggest-selling video game franchises of all time. These noted industry veterans bring decades of experience to Intellivision, and they have built
So I wanted to get to this part here. And I don't know most of the staff, so I can't say who does what, but I just wanted to point out that, well, we know some of the people like John, and actually I don't know most of these people. But right here you have, I'm not going to judge people, but you have 4 kids here. Like, they're literal kids. and nothing. And this is another child here, or child. I call him child, but these aren't, gaming veteran, experienced people. Like, I'm assuming it's family that's just, brought into the picture to make it, wider. But they have a very small team here that has to do some really serious stuff, and this is their team. It just, something seems off. And I don't think we've seen these guys before, but I just thought it was really bizarre that they had. I think in a tour video, these kids are actually working with them, so not like discriminating against people of the ages and whatnot, but for a upstart company that has like a huge amount of work that needs to get done, which requires deep knowledge on security and all that, why do they have kids working? That's a red flag in my opinion.
A team of more than 60 people with the global presence as support.
Here's Tommy, he's pointing.
Intellivision Entertainment has already raised $17 million for the development of Amico.
And what have they done with that?
Thanks to
Not
financial
much.
backing from investors and more than 5,000 individuals. Join us as we bring families back together again. Whether you are a parent, grandparent, young, or simply young at heart, make everlasting memories with the newest member of your family.
So is this a advertisement or an
Amico
advertisement for
from Intellivision
investors? Because it seemed like more like an investor advertisement, which makes sense since it's why it's on its page here. I don't know. In conclusion, it's just sad. It's not as bad as the Neil Patel one because it's a lot smaller, but it's using the same BS points that most people can see right through, and judging by how much it's raised, I guess it's diminishing returns of keep going to investors. The well is running dry, so it doesn't look too positive for them. At this point, it's way too late for a pivot, to change something else. It's inevitable that it's going to go bankrupt. Some people suggested that they should go bankrupt and then buy out the assets again afterwards and try again. I would just, at this point, just let it die. There is nothing here. There's clearly no interest anymore in people investing. The press has just killed it, so there's no way there's no path to success. And if you actually go through the financials, then you see just how terrible everything is. There's no way it's going to succeed, but it's funny while it lasted. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed looking through this stuff, and one last time seeing, the reach of, you can get 3 billion players, but 3 billion casual video game players, but there's just nothing there. People have seen through this. They've done it too many times. I'd be curious to see how much the fundable raised, if it raised anything at all, but we'll see what happens from here, and we'll take it from there. So I'll see you next time.